Yo, what's up, Nathan? Yeah, we'll get started here shortly. We're going to be focusing mostly on like the attack sides for both teams because there's a whole bunch of concepts I wanted to go over, so we'll get to that in a sec. What's up, Atomic? Responding to one thing here, and then we can get started here in a sec. Okay, should be good to go. So I didn't watch much of this first half, but I did watch a lot of the second half into OT, but we'll probably not watch the OT since it gets kind of repetitive. But the one thing I'm gonna focus on the most is watching both these teams on the attack side, because I felt like, at least when I've been watching matches the past few weeks, that not a lot of teams on attack are utilizing the mid area, like CAD, market control, mid default, stuff like that. So we're gonna kind of go into that as like one of the main talking points. So
because he has had some incredible performances, and it's very rare that when he shoots, he misses. So we'll have to see how he's feeling.
I'll probably skip through like some of the eco stuff to save a bit of time.
Looking to take a quick out towards B. It's all five stacked up. Nets to receive the orb. A dash one into the
B hit, guys counter darted. Ten attack feels kind of lazy, yeah, and I'll go into why some teams think like they do on this map. What am I doing February 14th? Driving my mom to the airport, I think. What about you? And I'll probably play ranked and get shit-faced. I want to get more into the defaults here so we can talk about that. Orb farming. I'll drive you to the airport, Mike. Thanks, Doug. Appreciate it.
Starts the Sova Wars. It starts the Sova Wars. We can expect fully that Trent will be rocking the same setup.
Doug, can you say who that or who you would be doing with for this next stage, or do you even know yet? Super Bowl Heroes on the 14th. Nice. What's up, Will? Okay, so we can kind of talk about this because this is going to be like the first default round. Which this is actually going to be like a mid-default round, so this is more what we're looking for. I just want to see how optimized it is. So they have... Pull this up. I wish it didn't make this all gray, but it is what it is. So we'll talk about first why a lot of teams don't default mid to begin with. Or like why they might not because of how people run defense, right? So this is kind of like a standard defense sub. you have something in mid like an alarm bot. Some people put the turret on boathouse here to watch the mid push. Just things like that, so you can leave this space free, right? Because if you leave this space free, it allows you to stack more people onto sites, take more people here to get a main control, stuff like that. So while this Ben Astra here taking a main, they're doing a one way. They have a suck. They have a stun here if they really want to. The skies can be allowed to be here because they have mid kind of being watched by this alarm bot. So the sky here can watch their cat so they can focus on a main. And they don't have to worry about like someone doing like a cat default while the sky's here. At the same time, Killjoy turret watching B main. Killjoy can play off that from this corner. Sova's here to help her out. Probably if it takes contact, he can like shock, recon, whatever. Now, obviously, we can talk about like the reaction of what happens if a team actually breaks this alarm bot, which I think Guard are going for cat control, so it's not going to be something that's explored. But if you can break this consistently, what's going to happen is either they're going to leave this Killjoy in B main, and the Sova's going to rotate back mid to hold this, which at some point it's probably they're going to bail out of this setup because the Killjoy doesn't want to be like here, isolated, and the Sova's back here or back here trying to hold this mid push so they can't just flank through their spawn. And the Killjoy's not going to want to stay here because at some point they could do just a market move. They could reclear B main with like Sova drone or something like that. So this guy's just completely isolated. That's like the bad reaction, obviously, is doing that. So most of the time they're just going to bail out of the setup. Whereas if this alarm bot gets broken, you're most likely going to see the heavier side, so the one with 3 people go. So this guy's going to rotate over, watch the back mid. Killjoy could still stay B main and have like Sova maybe steps or something watching his market, and they can try a crossfire like that. And these A main guys could technically just still stay in this setup. You'd probably may go like one person wine and try to do some sort of bait setup. But again, then you have this gap in tree, which makes it pretty hard for this other guy on A because he either has to play like here or here, and then this wine guy is super isolated. So you can see how breaking this mid alarm bot when people go for these heavy extremity control subs like XSET are doing, which they're doing because it's kind of like their bonus round, makes it pretty hard to do things as defender when this one thing gets broken. That's kind of the power of mid defaults and how you can start abusing rotations like that. Let's see, they started mid, they have a smoke here once they get up cat so they don't have to worry about someone walking up. Second gets good info off that flash so they know they're cat defaulting. These guys can cancel out the A mains up anytime they want. I've not talked about him going back to Sky instead of KO, but it's something I'm going to highlight at the end here because I do think KO is a lot better value. But yeah, this is really nice too, having the knife here for cat default. Smoke this guy off so they lose all this info. So if they were in like a site sub, these guys have to get some sort of info cat. They have decent info because of this A main control. Guard do something kind of interesting, I thought, at least from this one, where they have Brent's always here in A main making noise, so he's more of a lurker than anything. But he's also applying a lot of pressure with his util, so let's see, now alarm bots can get broken here. Trent gets to pick A main, and this guy has to peel off because they broke the alarm bot. That Fortnite guy, whatever his name is, nice. Yo, what's up, Vincilly? Can you restart from round 1? I mean, we skipped the pistol and anti-eco pretty much, so it's just a B exec and none. I don't really watch anti-ecos all that much. I'm not going to watch this part either, but okay, now we got full buy round, so again, we can talk about the setup. Aaron's really late to hear setup, but that's fine. So Guard look like they're going to do the same thing again, which is going to be pretty good for them because, again, we can talk about if you can smoke this off. Another thing that I forgot to mention is like if a Killjoy doesn't have her setup at mid, they're probably doing an A setup like this where they have her watching cat, They probably have some sort of like alarm bot molly setup like that, which if you can have someone either drone through here or knife or dart or whatever, smoke this off, isolate that, and you can break all this stuff in here, like this turret, this molly, this alarm bot. Makes these A site guys super afraid because that's kind of their fallback. They want you to hit the site because they want you to run through all the molly's cat or all the molly's switch, whatever. Which again, if you can break that, it's really gonna mess with their rotations. So there's getting this guy posted on cat, he's gonna get smoked off. Guarders can go for like a mid default now, so that's something XSET are recognizing. I'm interested to see if I know XSET do like a lot of like walk down stuff, a lot of contact stuff, but it's just like BCJ's posted here. Not sure. I'm assuming Def would just like deny mid control by himself, but it's kind of like a risky setup. And you can see now that since Cryo got smoked off cat at that point, that peels Zekin off all the way over here, so. So like within 25 seconds or so, they're already messing with what XSET's setup is. And it looks pretty weak, because at any point if they tried to reclear B main with Sova drone or KO knife or something, I think BCJ would get demolished most likely, unless he just headshots everyone, but second drone or dogs off cat gets pretty good info that they're still there. Wonder, they kind of slowed down a lot here. Guess they're walking at mid. Yeah, they're double holding to see if anyone's peeking behind the smoke. Just feels kind of slow, I guess. Not very slow, but Aaron broke. I didn't see what he bought the last round. He might have like bought up to make their bonus round a bit better. One of your two initiators down, no flashes to go over the top, and now you don't even have a dash on into the side. Saya, it's clipped through the wall, and Cryo quick on the rotates. Will not only find Valen, but will find the spike down. On a pretty good spot here for the defense. I don't know if there's much of a way to really answer. Kind of curious to see. I'm still thinking about this one. It's like Astra, Jet, KO default team part of the map. I'm wondering if it would be better if you broke up like Astra and Jet into pairs with KO and Sova and work different parts. See, I think they're just gonna do what? Killjoy ult B maybe. To follow, try and slow down a push. Oh man, they're just fighting on inside the pit. They're saying, hey, if I'm gonna get locked down, it's gonna be a-okay. He picks up two, and oh my goodness, almost doesn't get spotted. Trent, good to spin around, clear out the lock. Got Silva ult for post plan. Tried to get the guy dogging. That's a pretty good play, even though he's not gonna get him. And the shot by net. Instead, to pick up Zekin as he storms his way onto the site. Now BCJ has a lot to worry about. He's got a teammate in his back pocket. No, he doesn't. Net again. The 9 HP warrior finds 3 on the round. Now BCJ needs to be pretty good timing to peek off the dart. Let's see here. I need. Okay, we got in our mid default round, I think. Still unknown. South for him. Money's a little tough here, but Bladestorm, that's all right. XSET have it to work with, and Cryo will push out. Okay, they break the dart and then KO knife because they might suspect that the Jet's mid. Gets rid of his knives temporarily so they can start taking space off that. I feel like I like this pairing more. I wish the Jet would have stayed with the KO. I feel like Sai is kind of, I don't know if he's getting called back to A main to go with them with the drone, or if he's just kind of like lost on what he should do, but I think he should definitely be walking up cat with Jonah there. But the thing I like about having like the Jet KO and the Astra Sova is they both have util. They can kind of combo. You can flash through the Jet smokes. The Jet can take space off that. The knife kind of works as info gain ability. Astra can deny map control with like the sucker stun, Silva can gain map control. With drone and dart, obviously you could combo the shock dart with the suck, stuff like that, so you can take a lot of map control effectively. Because I feel like when Astra, or when Valen was walking up cat with them, he's more of an extra body than anything. And then Trent has to play like super passive A main. Nice patience from Zekin though. What do you think about electing to dart wine there instead of using the hit? Let me look at what else they had. I hate how can't see the HUD for this either.
This is difficult, right? This is where it would be nice to have that sky. You know, you can run something in, try and clear out these angles after that drone's already been used. You see Trent doesn't have that one available to him, but
probably someone has like a molly or a suck, right?
Can run something in, try and clear out these angles after that drone's already been used. You see Trent doesn't have that one available to him. Forward turret.
Yeah, they use the door suck so someone can't run through it. I feel like I'd almost rather them use that on wine, or maybe jet smoke the cross if he has one and clear it, just hard clear it. I feel like using dart there's a little bit. It's pretty telegraphed and it's kind of a waste. If I didn't clear the corner. Oh, on the side entry you mean? Yeah. Checking the angles on the dash. Subtenant. Watching film without the HUD is miserable, yeah. Well, especially if like recharging abilities, you have to be like mentally keeping note. Sub Conroy. Let's see. Could run like a KO like mid B off this, I'm assuming. Put a star here so they're a little bit of the afraid of like an A hit maybe. So this again is like why cat defaulting's really good, because these guys feel pretty free as long as the alarm bot is here, that they can do whatever they want A main, and then these guys can 3-stack B. And since they have numbers, they're not that worried, because at any time, if there is mid pressure, or like they hear someone drawing up market and this gets smoked off, BCJ or Def or someone can rotate back mid, and there's still a fast rotate back to B just to 3-stack that. Yo, what's up, Silky? I think it's better in Ascent, KO, or Sky. I used to think Sky was better, but I think KO is a lot better now. On the flank, finds a trade through, and Valen able to take down BCJ on the steps. Site taken, but for how long? Second has walked up. Doesn't even get a shot off. We'll see how fast these guys were aware of the mid push. I don't think it would even matter that. Okay, Zekin dogged it. They did know. It's just like at that point after we die in B main, Cryo die in B main off the bat, the sub's gonna rip. I feel like there's a lot of timings you could take off XSET stuff though. Okay, now we have BCJ and Saya walking down mid again. I think they have marshals. Build A, don't mind that for Antico, honestly. Especially with how many ults XSET have. Not sure if I like the wall as much, because one, I hate when people hide in hell and you're kind of, I think this guy might get mollied though. Okay, he doesn't get mollied, I don't think. I guess the knife will have seen him though, but you don't know if he's heaven or hell. But the main thing is you like taking long range duels on Antico. Wall lets him get a little bit closer out heaven, could be in hell, stuff like that. Flash clear hell. you can just like see the fight that they took against Cryo, right? Like even though it's against a martial, that's kind of the favorable fights for you when you're all grouped on Antico at least. Yo, what's up, a petty sum? You're on the Trent Believer train. I think we all are.
Eventually decapitate the Sova. If you're XSET, I think your only goal here is maybe find some on the way out or die to the spike. And
Like XSET have always played Killjoy and AOA more than other teams. I think FNS plays a lot, but he does do the same setups as Aaron. He does a lot more of like the garden denial type stuff, which is kind of like what we're talking about counter. Okay, so again we got XL love these kind of like contact walking plays with Cryo, so get him posted here. Def can bait in the corner while he does that, because if he dashes out, they're probably not going to think he's going to be in this corner. Alarm bot covers their mid. These guys can 3-stack A. Price one way, can suck off the turret, flash off that. Only thing they really have to worry about is cat control at some point, so.
Can kind of just have our way on the series. But as you said, it hasn't been working. And it's another 0 point.
Like Cryo's getting boomed by the knife this map. I think a lot of people are going to get more used to it because people are running KO a lot on this map, but you'd be surprised how many times people just forget about the common knife spots and just run into it pretty often. I'm going to watch that again because I was talking, not fully paying attention. Okay, so broke the knife, breaks the turret, gets out. Kind of scared to take B main now because there's an op there. Probably just want to place the alarm bot back here in case they round the corner. Because if they're breaking all of your other stuff, they're just going to break that too from the same angles most likely. Just rough not have. That's the one downside about having, like, if you're running KO, or not KO, Sky Sova, even though Trent's all the way over here, at any point with Sky, you could just like redog that, right? But KO's a little bit different. Even though you get info off the knife, you have to guess a little bit more on what they're doing.
All go towards the catwalk side. They'll still try and pressure him, but they're failing. Smoke up, Zekin tries to dive.
Raid. It's kind of what we talked about earlier, right? When they go in this heavy aiming sub. Where there is his molly there. I'm assuming he called back his. Okay, no, Trent broke it. I was wondering if he was going to put like his turret down here and try to like pop the molly to force them to fight him when they come up, but yeah, if this 3-stack case, since they have the alarm bot mid, they got full B main control, they can have like one guy whine. And then Cat was the only thing that was open that we talked about, but by the time this round's over, Zeki and Aaron can kind of just transition like one door, one guard, and try to crossfire this. And then BCJ's in whine, so you can kind of just lurk, wait for A main people, which works pretty good against the guard on some of these rounds, because Trent's more solo there, making pressure. So like if you're studying them on VOD or something like that, if you saw Trent was solo, you might be more inclined to play Wine, wait for his util, and then they're hitting A, you know, it might be like a heavier cat split. You can just get 1-for-1 on him, and then, you know, A main's most likely clear. Yo, Conroy, thanks for a 9-month resub, man. So I can see teams get late flanked through cat every time this map is played. I mean, like, I think mid to late round going cat and market is really strong, but I think a lot of teams just like to run it right off the bat. The main thing though is just like breaking all this Killjoy util, and you really disrupt everything teams want to do on this map. Mid dart. Not only picking up the one player who's playing outside towards main, but then in that position, I also don't even think using a shock to break this alarm bot is always worth it. I think sometimes just like defaulting and breaking it applies a lot more pressure to these guys at B. Let's see. Okay, they got Cryopus on line at B again, so he's got this line. They have the turret here, which spots, and then Zekin can flash and swing off that. They have BCJ is just taking contact here. Aaron's going to pop the mollies off that, and then they have that kind of crossfire set up for Cat. So they have most of their bases covered here. Def is, I think he's going to go jump spot mid after he gets posted. So we could also fast rotate to A. The only thing is if they did go up market here, Ryo could get like really rolled. They do have this star pre-placed though, I guess if they wanted to smoke him off so he can keep this. Is XSET the most underrated team NA? I don't think XSET are underrated. Okay, so this is a pretty good example, right? When that alarm bot gets broken, look at how much attention this is going to pull when this alarm bot gets broken. This guy rotates. They have to cancel off this A main setup. Dog Cat. So now they have like decent info maybe on what's happening mid. This guy's still pulled off. Turret's still watching A main so they can transition to Cat more. And they haven't really heard much A main this entire round, but just like the amount of pressure this has, and they can kind of focus on it for now because they have again like these deep lines. Turret can see A main, I'm pretty sure, from where he placed it, unless it's behind the box and it can't fully, but it should have at least like a sliver in the angle, and they can also see Cat. You guys posted B main so they can focus on this for a bit. The only issue is if they go just fast B here.
Just making sure here for XSET that don't push all the way deep into that spot.
Cryo pushing forward though. He has a lot of space in this one. Can he cut the rotation? If he goes deep enough, if the timing's there, he can find his shot. Are they eluding him? Oh, they are.
And even now since transition, even now since this Zekin was still here, they have like a little bit of a sub still. They're still putting the mollies off the turret Cat. It's just a lot more. Dude, what the fuck happened to my epic pen? Just crashed, bro. It's back. Even though they have like B main control, just breaking that alarm bot keeps Zekin here because they're still worried about the mid B splitting on Cryo. That totally disrupted like their really heavy early A round setup. This game from last night, yeah. It went to like 1 million OTs. The other nice thing is like if you do this, if you do any sort of late round Cat hit, just being able to not have to worry about shine door, and you can control a tree like this. Have like one person here maybe. You could always have a reflank from A main. There's a lot of different stuff you can do with it. As long as the A site guy doesn't shut the door and fucks the entire thing. And this also works out pretty well because they knew Aaron had Killjoy ult, so they can fight as well. They just delay a bunch though, and X are pretty much fucked here. Is it worth it to take bomb through mid there? Most of the time you want to be like, if you're defaulting mid, you're going to be pretty heavy mid, so you want bomb to be there, because bomb at any time, like let's say you go up Cat here, and they're just at some sort of gamble stack or something, like there's two here, maybe they like sky flash through a smoke, people swing. Anytime the bomb can just cancel and go mid to B, whereas if your lurker A main or B main has the bomb, this guy's going to take a lot longer to rotate around, and there's a lot more risk of him getting like lurked on, or during his rotation he gets fucked over, so that's why you want mostly when you're doing like mid defaulting for the bomb to be mid. What's up, Orbity? What are my thoughts on Try? I think he's really good. What do you think of Neon, the player or the agent? That's a distinction that we're going to have to make a lot going forward, I think.
The guard still hold it down. They tie us up once more, and I mean, what a series that the guard brings to us after the last showing against XSET.
It's kind of like a half vibe eco round for XSET here. Not mad at this, keep it simple. Pretty insane timing off the stun from the dog there in the dart. BCG just got a nerd ass lineup from here for lane. Wall's a little bit wider, maybe. Maybe could do. Why did that not work? Oh, I don't have Epic Pen Pro to draw a straight line. But you can just do a wall like this that's a little bit closer, so there's less cubbies for people to run out in. But sometimes Astro Walls just get placed and they have a bit of a buffer, so. See what else happened here. One guy ran through the wall. I mean, XSET are really fast through the wall. Def just peeks, gets one. They have to invest KO because you're at a disadvantage. Need to take a fight here because you're 2v3 even though you have the better guns. Because you're just going to collapse on. But XSET, they've got a really good call here because Def probably realized like, oh, they're down 2v3. Probably feeling the pressure like they need to make a move here, so they're just holding for a bit. You can see everyone just have to hold stairs, hold lane. Yeah, running through spawn feels like that person can always get one. That dog timing was just insane though on them. Yeah, on the agent, I think the stun could be really interesting. I just think the rest of the agent is like Giga Feed potential. The stuns, I feel like you could combo really well shit because you can just throw them super fast. You don't need lineups really like that badly. The only thing with the wall being a little bit closer is they might be a bit more hesitant of running through it than if they have like a lot of space here, because you could see Cryo kind of, he kind of like scaled out this way from it. Whereas if the wall is a little bit more flush, then they have to peek just immediately out of it. That was pretty good though from XSET. With all their util though, they couldn't get like any more value out of like the dog, the darts than they did, I don't think. That's pretty much like picture perfect. We do stop XSET fast push through the wall. They couldn't really get set up though for that because I was explaining what happened. So they got out right in their 4 scaling lane, and then Sai was wrapping steps, and they don't know obviously like if it's going to be some sort of eco stack backside, so you want to be thorough with it. But again, with all the delay they had, so Zek and Dog from spawn, that stunned all these guys. They got darted from tree by BCJ. So XSET just had a bunch of util that stalled them, so they couldn't even really set up post plant wise by the time they got on the site. Like they got on the site, bomb got planted, they trade out Aaron backside after he got 2, but XSET was already, they had 1 guy ran through the wall, Zekin, they had 2 guys here, no, they had 3 guys here, BCJ, Def, and Cryo, so they couldn't really get in any better post plant positions prior. And like Def's one out got one. I like using this ult too to take cat rather than just doing like strip A main hits, because again you can have your post plant for cat. So you just get tagged off the rip. They insta drone tried to break it.
Picks up an early kill, and BCJ actually able to track down Jonah P. Tagged him with the owl drone. Hit him up with the Hunter's Fury in the guard.
Jonah P. Molly CT or something to try to stop them right now. I don't see. It didn't look like it when I watched it, but again, there's so much delay that he could have at the start and it just faded. Okay, let's see XSET's attack now.
Really does. I also think that now we're on the inverse though.
Okay, dart, break turret, got smoke here. Could also turn into a suck.
Squad on the attack, whereas Jonah P probably gonna bring that same oomph when it comes to his utility and what he does.
This is like a pretty common like 1-3-1 that you might see with like the Sova Jet Sky working mid, Killjoy and Astra extremities. That's what like Envy did a lot before. Pretty good mid fight from the guard though. Deny like the turret B main, deny early B main control. They knife it even before they fight mid. It's like a double insurance. They're playing full retake A. Okay, now you probably want to pick one here to fight. Good, they both fight the B guy. Trade. Neck can probably lean a lot more because he has his stuff set up for A, so you probably want to try to play a little bit closer together. You can see Valen place the star backside, so if Def does come out B, he can try to stall really hard for Net to rotate here. I'm assuming Net's turret is in... I can't tell if it's in heaven or hell or not. Oh, it's in hell. Okay.
But can't quite clear it. Net shuts down. That setup had me scared though. Very separated. Net loses that duel. I think round's over.
I think glass probably wasn't broken, so then he just knew like if he breaks glass, he can go heaven, whatever. I can get flanked from there. Because otherwise the guy has to route like this, right? And he's holding for this anyways. Dodge knife. Let's see that knife again. Just the corner one, right? Yeah. I need to test because there's like this billboard above B main. I wonder how far down it goes. Like if the knife will reach down still. I'd really love like the alarm bot molly setup, so even if this gets broken, they can try to deny that space with the molly until they rotate around. RP main denies those guys.
Star though, so could try and sneak past it, but Trent's holding again. Oh, now the timing's been missed.
Let's see. Look back mid. They didn't break the alarm bot though, so these guys know this is kind of just fake as fuck. Valen kind of bid on it. Knife gets a lot of info though, so he comes back. Oh, bruh. I really don't like when people play around this box up here. I feel like I've seen so many pros get like either darted or hard cleared when they contact in when they play up there. Dia plays on top of the box, but a lot of them play like behind it and try to watch cap. Playing Def to shoot the bot. He wasn't close enough to see it, I'm pretty sure. That plays inside that defensive Astra smoke for picks off the recon. Gotcha. This is the cat sub that we were kind of talking about earlier. That's really good to mid default and break if you can either recon or in the case of XSET, they could dog this, they could drone this, smoke this off, break all of this, break the turret. Then these A guys are really in a bad spot on what they need to do, and they're probably calling for a rotation. It's a low jet mid, kind of like the buffer that you can use if they're opping or marshalling or something. Then rotate around. Probably gonna try to get him on the B line here, so then these other two guys can focus on market. The alarm bot found the B main push. Probably gets tagged mid, so you know most of the time the jet's gonna be like the spear of the default. Sova drone should see all those mollies there, so maybe CJ goes and shocks them. They shocked them. The side just got owned on this line. Yeah, he just gets owned. That angle's tough from that spot. Unless you have an op, and even when people op, I feel like I see them get deleted on that line. Nice play by Jonah. A little timing there. Def is on the hardest lurk of his life here in A main. Armbot gets off cat. Aaron is hitting crazy tight angle shots this map. Gotcha. Mummy played behind that box every round. On Anbox or what? I don't know if I've seen Anbox play Ascent yet. Okay, let's see. And alarm bots up in mid.
Stay off the weed.
Yo, Seamus, thanks for the prime. I just realized it got really dark out. It was so bright when I started this, I didn't think I would need my lights. See. They said the smoke dart thing here, right? It's pushed off the B line, so you call for smoke. Yeah, smoke dart. Restart from round 5, no problem, Vens. How's it so dark at 2 p.m.? It's just Iowa winter. It's just fucking overcast all the time. Food delivery, always forget your drinks. What'd you get?
Just with a different initiator of the other side, Jonah P being the big man to deny him. So who steps up in the gap? BCJ, it's Jonah P. It's been net especially. Now Saya Hill
See, try to get side post on the line again here. Now's his turret for CAD.
holding deep.
Can't tell because there's so much shit overlaid here.
Executed. Finally
What's happened here?
organize any early push.
Okay, Peak's gonna try to break the turret for Saya.
Net especially. Now Saya Hill look to do more in this round. Push forward.
Wait, is Trent spamming it actually?
Organize any early push. Vagrant's holding deep.
Yeah, Trent's trying to spam it.
He's got the angle. Jonah just executed.
That's a nice shot from Aaron.
For XSET. 5v4 to work off of in this mid round.
Felt kind of weird that Saya was holding the passive angle on the right,
Outside of his
but
kills, we've already talked about what the utility has been doing to this XSET team, completely neutered in any attack.
got a sub and a Coke Zero.
And obviously his fragging power behind it makes him that much more of a menace here on Ascent. So nice early kill. Aaron
See,
heads
smoke
up to get
cat, try a mid default.
as it's net now to fight for cat control on the side of the guard. A couple of vaults to work with because of that kill. Net has the lockdown. Not net, excuse me. Aaron has the lockdown online, and the Seekers.
Net's kind of fucked here.
Grab a bit of info, but the Trailblazer immediately dispatched. Stub net to follow those. Zach not happy about the way the utility went. Aaron, and obviously his fragging power behind it to this XSET team, completely neutered in any attack. And obviously his fragging power behind it makes him that much more of a menace here on Ascent. So nice early kill. Aaron heads up to get that. As it's net now to fight for cat control on the side of the guard.
I'm assuming Ned, since they smoked cat, thought they were gonna like market split or something maybe. Or maybe Killjoy ult B since that guy was out there from the start, so he figured he could get space on cat and may like relurk mid if they hit. Just didn't think they would pop Seekers there. Nice from Saya, just fucking bang out two guys on opposite sides. Yo, what's up, Dylan? The dog worth using there? You definitely want to invest it to see if like they're like super close after they break. If they're peeking wide, you can stun them. The stun is pretty huge for that. What did Saya do? They just get Daryad? Oh, he just walked out.
Now Trent makes his way on through with the Odin, and he'll find the next. Seconds there to trade it back. He'll also get that spike planted.
Nah, he's just going way too early. Because Valen can just clear those initial angles for him before he walks out.
Clutch things up. Not a very telling flash, except for that Valen is close to the gap. Is closer to the site than maybe XSET had expected. Cosmic Divide available. BCJ goes.
Am I gonna watch party the match later? Probably not.
Help top him off though. Now both players noted.
I don't know if you don't like have any permissions for it, so I don't know if you need them, but I'm assuming you do. The same Molly alarm bot setup in mid. They got the like smoke dart setup going on here, so I just posted tiles. These guys can stall pretty hard at A between the Astra and the KO. The one thing that I've seen Net play this spot a lot though when they run the SEP, and I feel like if a team was consistently breaking this alarm bot or mid defaulting, it could really own him if he's not out in time. Because then Trent's isolated on Saya and he's isolated market, right? Yeah, I think they... Second tried to spam the alarm bot off his dog and only hit the molly. Yeah, sometimes they flash when they break it, but sometimes he also just plays off himself. Okay, re-smoke main. I reposition here because you're both gen. So I just had to take a bit of more passive angle. Guys are grouping up B. Again, I don't know how long Trent has had his dart for.
Although lots of noise out towards A, the spike is rotated back towards B sites. And with Aaron dying in that last round, they've got the lockdown for this. So a Cosmic Divide, a lockdown. How soon do they push? Do they go too early? Nice And with Aaron dying in that last round, they've got the lockdown. So a cosmic divide, a lockdown.
Gonna dart behind the smoke.
Do they go too early? Nice flash to Zekin, gonna find one. Fred's there to trade it back. Recon bolt to try and get some extra information. So a cosmic divide, a lockdown.
I feel like in your mind though, if they're gonna Killjoy out there, regardless if they throw out the Astro Wall, you have KO ult and Astro Wall, you could easily play retake B there. I also have this internal debate on using recons for like when the hit comes in to blow it up, or if you do it early so you can get the rotate in faster.
That was the reset point. XSET needed something more on the trot. It doesn't quite happen.
Because I think there it might be a bit ideal if you can get people to rotate faster. You can pop the KO ult, but
Really can't account for. XSET loves holding their post plans out towards B main. It has been kind of a statement of their play on this map for quite a while. BCJ will hold back really passive angles. Set up with darts, set up with this.
they pop KO on 1v3.
Really good retake, and the
lockdown subsides. It's quick on the retake. It's the operator front lines. It's Valen to pick up two. Now the last one standing is Aaron who got that spike planted. And Jury
Yeah, I mean,
as the lockdown subsides,
not the end of the world though.
it's the operator front lines. It's Valen to pick up two.
They probably don't know like if he has like a turret set up inside or if he has like molly set up on the bomb, so not the worst idea.
so much reset point. XSET needed something more on the trot. It doesn't quite happen. Valen, that is just ridiculous. Their play on this map for quite a while. BCJ will hold back really passive angles. Set up with darts, set up with this Hunter's Fury when he has it, hold the flank. The guard is ready for that. They shut down that space. They isolate the players.
Same alarm bot setup in mid, but Side's kind of like overlapping with it. He's opping Tiles angle.
Good angle from Saya. Dart won't show him, so Zekin has to be careful here.
He drawing up mid now.
That should be forced out, but he gets the shot off.
Had a pretty good timing off the drone there. Missed the shot.
Zekin found good damage. That's payback.
At least net bails out there.
The recipe to success for this one here.
Has the turret be main, so it doesn't have to worry about backing up from that angle.
On good damage. That's
How
payback.
did they?
The drone is coming. Cash
Success for this.
shot off. No connection.
I've seen people do this jump peek, and I remember
That's payback.
when we played TSM, we did too. But it's just so easy, especially when you're silent jumping like Jonah is, to time it.
Snuck up. The glass will reveal, but Valen not ready for it. The jump peeks from Jonah. Spotted nobody.
And just Fox over Val in there.
The inverse is there as well. The same can be said for the KO. Not spotted jumping. Means he trades the kill back onto death. Early onto death, excuse me. Early damage still stands. Hunter Shiri looks to clear out the site, and Aaron falls.
I think as long as you're behind a box that doesn't get spammed easily like this one, it's a lot better just to be like jiggling as much as you can. How's he silent jumping there? Because it's like a slope surface, I'm pretty sure. And when you're doing like crowd shit with it, you can silent jump.
Only gonna trade back for one. It was the back and forth that went insane on the round. It was Jonah P.
Yeah, what Willow said.
To find a kill onto Def, and at the end of the day, Trent, the last one
But Zekin plays KO on the usual Sky maps and Sky on the usual KO map. I'm assuming they like Sky on this map because of the double drone, which is pretty tempting within itself. Double drone is pretty sick. Sky's also pretty sick just for getting passive info. Just like throwing a flash in area, popping it, see if anyone's there.
There's a shock dart out towards mid. A nice little lineup there. I think maybe to the next.
See, they got a stacked as fuck B setup. They have good retake ults again.
There's a shock dart out towards
Turret's watching mid for market.
I think maybe spots the alarm bot or takes down the alarm bot. Unfortunately, nothing to be had.
Net's playing. They're playing for like B side 100% though, because Net's just like dug into logs.
Dog to clear through mid. Double shot.
And drone's mid.
They can put a bit more emphasis out that way for free.
These guys, I'm assuming, on catwalk are doing like a sub where Valen takes contact. If he gets smoked off, they can pop flash, double peak, size, and wine.
Double shock lineup.
Again, though, like mid is a pretty big hole here.
That's a heavy B play for this Killjoy.
Especially for this, because they're going fucking heavy market on them. And he's not going to get any value, because again, like, they just went heavy market. No one be main, except for the one Killjoy lurk. This util doesn't get any value. I've never been a big fan of the turret on Bow House, because I really like being able to shut market door and make them break the door if they need to break something. Net loves logs. I think lots of Killjoy players like playing logs.
BCJ queues up a recon bolt. This could be everything as it goes over the top. Nobody needs to take care of it. BCJ gonna give up his position. Oh no, in the head it's spotted, but the shot, it doesn't land. 6 rounds gonna force a reload. Jonah P too early on the swing. It doesn't have.
Yeah, possible. I'm not like super huge on that turret. It's just something to switch it up so you don't do like the same turret B main alarm bot mid, but I like I said, I like being able to shut the door more and then gamble off that.
Had me worried from XSET. I wanted to see some pressure made because we've seen.
Unless you're doing something like the turret's here and you're gonna flash off of it or something like that.
Saya is in main and he takes value into the late round. This time though, thankfully for XSET, no one had pushed up. I'm wondering if part of the reason they commit to that play is because the double bounce shock didn't discover a Killjoy alarm bot, because that can be a tell. They spotted the Killjoy already towards that site, so maybe they realize that, hey, alarm bot's not here. He's probably anchored towards the site, which means there's likely no aggression. Either way, it worked
Yo,
out.
Vance, you're getting kinda sus, bro.
Push through mid already for 3.
I think MC's gonna beat the shit out of you and shit.
If Saya's Marshall, he takes his shot and dash away, and they can flash back forward if they want to, but no one's tripped the trap. Instead, they just reset.
Let's see.
Either way,
Turret B main, they hard denied B main. These guys are just peeking cat together, clearing all the angles.
it'll be
Gonna gamble stack off that.
Saya's Marshall, he takes his shot and dash away, and they can flash back forward if they want to, but no one's tripped the trap.
Was guard's biggest strength? I think that they try to play like a lot fundamentally better than other teams, even if they are pretty individually skilled. I think a lot of teams rely on individual stuff too much.
XSET expects some aggression out towards B main. They don't expect to get that for free, so they're forced to use that recon bolt early.
Going up mid.
There. And the owl drone clear out mid.
You can see this is all pretty empty.
Killjoy should be in range, so that turret should be up, and we'll get the information. There's also a lockdown available for the guard should they want to use it to just try and secure this round. If not,
Gonna try to deny cat info over here by popping a smoke or pull it back.
shot doesn't land. Good crouch from Cryo. Able to play Matrix. Dodge the bullets.
Killed the
there.
normal B player though, so they're just gonna hit that.
So the lockdown off the table, and I would imagine this round grinder get done on the retake.
Still brittle. They might be able to be cracked set for guard, because they've put their all playing for him.
Oh yeah, yes, they are. 0 point reveals nothing, but you know the Killjoy still is.
It's not 12 weeks. It's just from
revealed, but
February to March something. It's just 5. What's up, ASP?
heavy A-lean this time, but look
Yeah, if it was 12 weeks of groups, I would be fucking dead.
is an absolute
Okay, super heavy setup on A. They're playing for his full retake here because they have the Killjoy stuff.
the jets and the nano swarms are popped, so they make quick work of the utility. Trailblazer trying to clear things out, and Cryo prim and proper on the side. Aaron gonna get that lockdown in position, but waiting to
Counter lockdown ult.
wanted to make sure that net was gonna use his as well. Jonah P gonna find the first, it's second and down.
Gonna just spam the fuck out of the pointer. That's pretty sick.
To try and help the defense retake this site, but now there's no lockdown to worry about as Cryo.
Wait.
Well, Jonah P gonna find the first, it's second and down. Again, the spike planted. Cosmic Divide to try and
Bones wall kind of trolled them there, honestly.
lockdown to worry about as Cryo pushed aggressively. Now Jonah P still on the hunt and maybe spotted out BCJ, wary of this angle. Cryo's able to trade one back to the
Well, they're placing the wall for just taking front sight.
good, but Def still
He wasn't like thinking about blocking the Killjoy ult with it.
yet to be planted. 25 seconds in
He probably thought like net was just doing the one back here anyways.
net here.
That placed it in a weird spot too. You normally don't see anyone placing it below by the steps.
Should he head that
Fake drops down with the pistol.
on the backstab, but he's running out of time, and time is eluding him.
Missed on that guy.
Now he's just gotta try and run him down, but all you have to do is stay alive if you're the guard, and they're doing so.
Fucking just running, man.
One remaining, but no time. The knife comes out. The classic will get it done. And a huge fumble on the round from XSET.
That was the swing point. If BCJ sticks the plant there, I think they win. He was wary that someone was constantly loses it. Saya, they know that at least overtime is guaranteed, so why try and force the issue and lose out on your economy and just play Spectres 2 rounds in a row? That's almost an assured loss. Instead, they're fine to likely give this round away, damage XSET's economy, and come back stronger with more ults in the next.
What do you think about that Astro Wall and A-Site to just let you plant by a tall wind box, like the one that goes like this kind of, and then you plant here and play post plant?
Catches BCJ. I was thinking this is a deep drone. Unfortunately, nobody around. Trent, I believe the only player with a rifle.
The only thing I have in it, or the only thing I think you can really get fucked by is like if people have flashes and they flash through it. The door guy always tries to take timings too.
Out towards sidewalk, and it's Zekin to stamp the round.
I like using Astro Walls to take more of the site rather than less. I don't really want to give up space to the defenders to get back in, because all those walls let them like get into the site early to try to take space.
Okay, replay.
What group do you think is going to be harder to qualify for playoffs?
Absolutely dirty to take that one down. Second time that
I feel like the one with Cloud9 in it's pretty stacked.
Good work out of Aaron. He sometimes
Astro Wall, best ults in the game. Josh just hates the Astro Wall because the ones he places in game are fucking cap.
The op angle's not being contested. No one's holding there, not even a Killjoy turret, so
Counter Killjoy Molly to get the guy off the line. He's there.
hold over.
Got double turret action, B main just staring each other down.
Alarm bot's still
Turn up Cat, turn this into a mid default to market.
or else he can just be broken. Kyle realizes what's going on. The alarm bot goes down. Now market to be taken. Is that too early? Finds a tag. There's one in reply. They're trying to do this anime style. The duel works.
Counter ult.
BCGA favored. It's huge, and now more needs to be done. Cryo spotted. He sees 2 on the B site. Surely this just calls for the hit towards A. Maybe not. Saya finds damage. Now
I feel like XSET would really get stuffed by a team that plays heavy mid. Nice flash through smoke.
no trade just yet. Finally, it comes, and it's second for a double. Only Saya. This one, as the hit's already through the flash. Oh, it's perfection. Jonah for 1. No trade just yet. Calls for the hit towards A.
I think Valen got team flash, which is why he doesn't swing with them, right?
This one, as the hit's already through the flash. Oh, it's
Yeah.
perfection. Jonah for 1. No trade just yet. Finally, it comes, and it's second for a double. Only Saya. Stave off overtime.
Well, the qualifying team's only won like 1 out of 12 rounds with Astro Wall in their qualifying games.
To go huge. He has the blades in this round. He picked up 1 on his way over. Now needs to find 2 more and a defuse. XSET using all the tools.
I think he gets 1 here, right?
by the Jet
Nope.
to try and
Different round.
Aaron sits him down 6 feet
Hmm.
under. Next set push us to OT. We swap sides, baby, and we go again on Ascent.
We go.
There's a bit more mid defaulting than I expected in that, honestly, than what I actually saw, but I still think. Let me think about what I want to say here. I feel like there's still a lot of teams that focus on just one of these areas between mid defaulting CAD and mid defaulting market, and I think you want to try to hit both as much as possible. That not fucking clear? That clears. I'm a boomer. But like, let me try to think of a setup here. Let's do it from guard's perspective, right? So let's say you wanted to cat default first, right? So you're doing this. Killjoy's tiles. He puts the turret here because this can see if anyone swings cat off the bat. Got alarm bot back here. Maybe do a little bit deeper so it dodges the shocks, but still sees if someone pushes up far enough. And then, yeah, I would probably have a different philosophy than how they're doing it currently, because they have like Trent's lurking here, right? And they do like this. But I think I'd probably put Astra main, because then you could double punish A main here and take both these sides at the same time, A main and cap, and really pressure these A guys and try to draw like either someone here, or someone that's watching back mid if they don't have something covering this to peel off to A. But yeah, then let's see. There's a few different things these guys can do, because this knife literally covers all the area that you really care about. You can flash through any of this. Astra can smoke this for you guys. You can also combo, like the Jet could smoke this, you KO pop flash through it, you just KO flash it. Molly clears all of this if you really wanted it, but again, if someone shoots the knife, you pretty much know. At the same time, Silva could drone A main. You could reverse clear this if you wanted to, like the Silva comes up to here, drones out and tries to reverse clear door, so you clear it that way. You could have the Silva back here, he can dart tree at the same time. And also, like, if the Silva's doing that, so I think it'd probably be better to dart, like, A main at the right off the bat. Maybe you suck to deny this, or you dart here. You dart tree, and then what you can do is you can leave this Astra in this spot. If you get A main control, obviously, is the big thing. And Silva can come back here, and then let's say the Killjoy's just playing A theoretically this round. You break all this shit in garden, you break this turret, you reset, and then Sova can just redrone these guys up mid, and then you double pressure at the same time because you just cleared all of this. You took A main. Someone could be on the B line at B, which is a little bit worrying, but again, if they push past this point, you have that covered. You drone this, and then at that point, you've really fucked up everything they're doing. Because let's say they're just doing like Killjoy A, right? And they got this, they got like a turret watching cat, they got their alarm bot Molly shit going for A main. And then you walk up cat, you break the turret, alarm bot stays up, but that's fine. Let's say Astra took A main, so you can leave them like in this lurk position maybe. Probably safer here, honestly. And then if the Killjoy's here and you lose tree info, then someone might have rotated off of B. They're playing back mid because you don't have a Killjoy alarm bot. You drone up market, someone from garden might get peeled off. There's just so many things that you can fuck with there that I think is pretty strong compared to just defaulting one. But I think the main thing is with all the teams that are doing Killjoy setups in either this area or this area, and then they just stack like 2-2, like 3-3, and then they take extremity control, you have to try to be breaking this, whether you're doing just like shock darts and then you go to your main controls, or you're just like defaulting both these areas. I think especially if you have Sova and Sky or KO, it's pretty stupid not to, because you just have so many different things that you can do for it. And like I said, like the knife alone just covers all of the areas that you need it to like default these areas without having Sova. KO or Sky on Ascent, I think KO is better right now personally, but thoughts on Side player and what he's bringing to the guard? I think he's pretty nuts in terms of his raw aim. Definitely has like some of the best jet knives I've seen out of most of the jets in NA. The only thing is that I think he needs more time probably learning like all the CS fundamentals in terms of, you know, like that one round we saw where he's B main, right? He had the B line. And then they smoked him off. XSET did when they took the site, and they just like walked through the smoke here and died. The BCGA, I want to say it was, before Valen rotated. It's just stuff like that that he's going to have to work on and get better at. Just like playing fundamentally with the team, not taking over aggressive peaks, stuff like that. But yeah, I think it's like the main thing I wanted to rant about for Ascent attack that Evan says, like when teams focus on attack on just defaulting this and this, just both of the mains and not pressuring mid, it makes it so easy for the defenders. Like if they do their, you know, Killjoy alarm bot here that's not getting broken, or the turret's watching cap like that or whatever, and they can just leave this entire middle of the map and they can just play heavy towards these extremities and focus on denying for you. It makes it so easy to do their job. But if you break any of this shit, it makes their jobs so much harder, and it makes them think a lot more. Because the other thing is, you'll notice when a lot of teams, when that stuff gets broken, you can't immediately go proactive. Like if the middle arm bot gets broken, someone has to go here and they have to either re-drone this or jump spot or KO knife or sky flash or something, right? Like they have to figure out what's going on in that area, which means all these other guys, for the most part, unless they have a strong positional array, have to play pretty passive. Now, if you got like a guy posted B main, you're not super worried. If you got a guy posted A main, you're not super worried. But the middle of the map, once you start fucking with it, it really messes up what everyone's doing. Because in the ideal situation, right, you're a defender and you get like, let's say you get your jet posted here, Killjoy alarm bots here, and then you can just like 3-stack A. Like here. I don't know, you have like a guy Dice or Hell or something, doesn't really matter. But that's like an ideal situation because you just have like these 3 people stacked here. Maybe you have like your Astra util down. Someone can rotate fast from mid because this guy's set up on a line and the alarm bot's not getting broken. Like, it just makes it so much easier to defend against sight hits, especially when people are making it really telegraph with what they're doing. So that's just something I wanted to rant about with attack and Ascent, because I don't feel like enough people are defaulting mid, especially with a double initiator comp that everyone's running. It should be pretty straightforward to do. And I really think like splitting up for the guard, at least, instead of having, when they do mid defaults, having like Astra Jet KO, maybe doing some double pressure stuff where you double pressure B and A at the same time with like either KO and Jet or Astra Sova, I think could be pretty interesting. And then it makes the defenders a lot more worried that they're going to get like fast split on. Because that's the other thing I forgot to mention too. Like if you're doing, I'm just going to put the icons up here instead of redrawing everything. But if you're doing like this, right? And let's say you get a pick on Cat while you're breaking all the Killjoy stuff, right? At any time, then the Astra and Sova here can just split the site with you immediately. And then you kind of have this neat timing lurked up with Killjoy, kind of like what we saw, who was it? I think XSET we're trying to do like more in the second half, where you leave tree, like you're splitting through trees, so you're playing post plan from here. Because let's say you guys funnel into site, right? Going through Cat, Killjoy can lurk through mid, see if anyone's like lurking here, and then you have him playing like late lurk Cat, or you can go A main, just either or. So it leaves more like post plan options too, depending if you get the kills early. But it makes you a lot more flexible, I think, because if one of your A or B main controls get shut down right off the bat, then you have to rotate like all the way through here, like back, you're gonna have to clear some of this shit. Or if you're aiming it shut down, you gotta rotate all the way back to B. I think it just ruins your timings. Whereas I think I timed it once, like going from here to here when you've defaulted it is like 6 to 8 seconds or something like that. Which just changes everything, right? Because if these defenders don't really know what you're doing after you break their Killjoy stuff on either side, 6 to 8 seconds is pretty quick if you're just like full on splitting these opposite sites. Like if you default one, hit the other. Yo, what's up, Thandrior? Killjoy or Chamber in Ascent? I think Jet's too good on Ascent to swap unless you did like Raise Sage, which I just think Killjoy is better to pair with Astra. The hard's nice stuff. The turrets having lines are really good. I don't really think you need another opping type agent besides Sha on this map. The TPs, I don't know if you could do anything interesting with them, really. Trying to think. The only thing I could think about with TPs is like if you're doing like an A split or something, the chamber went up cat, and he set up like a TP and A main pre-round, and he showed here and then TP'd back to A main. I'm sure there's some cool shit you can do with chamber, but I just feel like Killjoy and plus having the ult for retake is pretty strong. I know people are gonna say like, oh, but if you Killjoy ult, people just like Sova ults it or whatever. And it's like if I can get a Sova ult off the board so someone like BCJ can't just, drone or cringe ult dart you, I mean, that feels like a pretty good exchange for me. And it also creates a timing, because let's say you're like Killjoy retaking A and the Sova starts ulting it. Well, while that guy's ulting, that's one less person that can be actively fighting you in this retake. So depending on the number situation, right, you get like some decent leeway and a timing there while he's ulting your ult that you can take advantage of. How many of the 7 maps do you think Chamber should be played on? I think Fracture, or no, not Fracture. Well, maybe Fracture. Fracture could be pretty good. I think Breeze is pretty good. I think Icebox, he could replace Killjoy. I think he should definitely replace Sage. I think he's just way better than Sage on Icebox. Especially with the reworks, probably. I think Haven, you could do double Sentinel, which would be pretty cool. Bind, I'm kind of indifferent on. I still think Viper is probably better for what I would want to do. Ascent, I think he's playable, but I think Killjoy's better. Split, I think he's pretty good on and could be an alternative to the others. I'm forgetting one, aren't I? Breeze only? I think Icebox, definitely. Breeze, Icebox, Split, I feel like are all ones that you should run him on, or could run him on. Yeah, I said Split. I think all of them if you start on defense. I know people have talked about like making super defense heavy. I guess like Sonics is the best example, right, with their no duelist, but I don't feel like it's that optimal. I don't think you can plan around like a best of 3 like that and relying on having like a really heavy defense. Now, if you can have a really heavy defensive comp and you have a really flushed out attack side, which I kind of think the comp on Ascent is, where you run Jet, Sova, KO, Killjoy, Astra, that has a ton of defensive value. Now, if you can figure out how to really like abuse mid on attack in your mid defaults, I feel like then you have a pretty good defensive comp as well. But Radiance Breeze is very defensive. I feel like a lot of people are switching like really like a lot less duelist on Breeze now that the map changes are in. The map changes have made that map a lot more enjoyable to play, at least, so that's good. Icebox is the best map. Yeah, so I'll show you like, so at least I think right now, instead of walling tube like people do, I think being able to do this, and then you can either, like put a slow bot here for people to play off of, or maybe you put it 410. You could put one like Gen, so when people come in, they get slowed when they plant, and then you combo like a Sova ult with it or something like that. You can put one here and play like back yellow, and then you peek off the tag from the slow bot and a TP back spawn. I think there's so much cool shit that you can do with this agent on this map that makes it way more interesting. And also just like this TP within itself is pretty insane, that you could be all the way up at yellow and then TP back spawn and just cut that rotation time down so drastically, or get one and get out. I think there's a bunch of cool shit you can do. The thing I was trying to figure out was I was thinking of a comp where you ran Killjoy and Chamber, because in theory I feel like you could do shit like on attack is the issue, obviously. You slow bot these two areas for those pushes, and then maybe you do like Killjoy turret here to hold the lower push, and then Killjoy sits here and maintains his A control. I don't know, something like that. So like you could heavy default these other parts of the map and Killjoy holds this. You could do the same at B. It's kind of hard to say though, because this is all changing in the new update. So I feel like there's some interesting shit you could do though. I'm just so tired of the Reyna, Jet, Sage shit at this point. Put one under tube as well and then TP to boiler. Yeah, I mean that works. I feel like though when you have, I guess it depends on your setup though. Most of the time I'm not worried about under tube, but you feel like Shaz on Chamber will be something to try out. It'd be like decent probably, because you could do what? You could do Shaz Chamber. I feel like they'd probably keep playing Sage, but you could put Sick on Sova and then Dapper on something else. Or maybe you put Sick on Raze. I don't know. I don't think they're going to go too far outside the box, so I think they're going to be pretty standard on Icebox, but hasn't Dapper played Sage on Icebox before? Yeah, but he was like one of the first people to play Killjoy as well, so. Thoughts on Killjoy versus Chamber on Icebox? I think Chamber is really good. Obviously, you give up. There's some really good ults you can do as Killjoy on attack. Obviously, most people do the A one. We did this B one with Envy for a while, where you did that, and then you smoke like this and spawn. You scroll over because there's too many agents now, and then you deep wall like this, and then you just take all this map control off the ult, which I don't really see a lot of teams doing Killjoy ult B, but I think Chamber is definitely pretty good though. I'm just trying to figure out a way that you could work both into the same comp. Killjoy or Cypher on Haven? Killjoy for now, unless I think Riot needs to change how the trips are done to make them a bit more flexible, because I'll show you like an example, right? If your defender Cypher for Garage is like, I'll just draw them because it actually doesn't show. There's like a few trips you can do, right? Like you can do that, or you could do, what's the other one? You can do like this. It's like so straightforward, and most of these you can just spam from here, right? So that's a pretty big issue with Cypher. Now, if you could do some shit where like you can trip like, you know, this all of a sudden, now that really changes how things are set up. You can still Sova shock this obviously, but at least you have more options in what you can do. Cypher's just so limited by his trips right now, I feel like, is the main thing. His cam is still probably one of the sickest abilities in the game in terms of the info that you can get. I think you have to play Jet on Icebox. I've been watching some of these teams playing Chamber over Jet, and I think Jet's just too valuable. Yeah, that was well, Dean. Who plays Chamber on 100 Thieves? I don't know, I feel like Baby J could be pretty sick if he whipped out the Chamber. He has the aim for it. I think either Chamber replace Killjoy, or maybe you do both on Icebox. I'm not sure yet though, because I haven't put into practice. But I feel like you could swap out. For me, it'd be like Raze and try that, but I think a lot, like most of these teams should stop playing Sage and play Chamber, but I think they would get a lot more value if they did it right. But the 4 teams that were invited, probably Envy or 100 Thieves, because I don't know what they've been cooking up. I think Killjoy, Alarm, and Turret should be like Cypher trips, no range limit, disable when she dies. That's the way it was before. They want Killjoy to be like more of a proximity sentinel, which it's kind of weird. Maybe it's because of the mollies or something. They think that's kind of dumb that you can get damage in while you're like gamble stacking, but I don't know. It's kind of weird how she's like the only sentinel that can't really leave her util. Like Chamber, Killjoy, Icebox is just bad for defense. Retaking would be just so. I mean, you'd be playing way different though than these teams that are playing double duelist. Like teams that play double duelist on their like Jet Reyna have to play retake because they don't have anything to hold the sites besides taking fights. If you're playing Chamber Killjoy, you can rotate more freely because more spots of the map are covered by util that tracks it for you, and you can play in sites more rather than and playing off util rather than just like, okay, we're Jet Reyna here, they're hitting the site, we can't really do anything because we don't have any util to counter it. Barriers at the box, those are only possible trips for the Haven Garage one. Yeah, but like at the same time, if you could put an angled one, it's worth sitting in Garage until the barrier goes down to place one like this. You just can't though with how the trips are limited to begin with. Yeah, I think that's how I'd probably do it, user. You'd want to switch it up sometimes, but I think more often than not, like, I'll just draw out what we could do, right? So you'd probably do, this needs to be here. Let's say Killjoy's playing A, right? Could do a turret for Belt, something like that. And have the alarm bot for like one side with your molly set up while Chamber has a slow bot for the other. Maybe you combo them. You can just try to lock down this site super hard with like Killjoy and one other, while at the same time like you have Viper at B, right? So you got this set up, and maybe Sova's playing here, maybe Jet's taking a line. Like there's a lot of different things that you could do. Why hasn't T-Dog been picked up? Not sure. I haven't watched much of him. Recently, at least. W-Walk. KO's kind of weird on Icebox, at least, I feel like, because the knife size is relative to the map isn't the best. Like on Ascent, you can get so much coverage with the knife. Like just relatively. Like you can clear most of Garden and or like all of Tree and some of Garden with it. But yeah, it's kind of like on the Icebox, everything's so fucking massive that you don't really get that much value out of it, it feels like. Pop flashing through the Viper wall, like we've seen on Breeze, could be pretty insane, I feel like, but... And obviously, like, more post-plant denial stuff with the Molly, or KO ult for retake, stuff like that. KO ult for taking down the Viper stuff. Yeah, flashes are just weird on Icebox because there's so much map architecture in the way, especially on like A site. But yeah, Arena just tossed it up. Yeah, I did talk about Ascent attack things already. It was mostly just talking about how when teams in this Killjoy dominated meta don't break, or like not trying to break these mid things or these cat setups, it makes it really easy for defenders just to focus on fighting your extremity control constantly because they can stack so many people there. But when you start breaking these things, it makes them really reactive and it buys you a lot more space to get in the sights through mid. And it cuts down your rotation time because you can like default cat and then go back to market for a B split immediately. You smell things, Bacon? How's it going? But yeah, like, I don't know, I feel like Icebox meta with the new changes should trend even more away from Sage, but maybe I'm wrong. I do think Chamber's really good, but I wouldn't drop Jet though. That's where I'm at least with it. I still think Killjoy Rays are pretty good as well. But yeah, let's see. When do the next matches even start up? Thought they were like soon. Yeah, they're like in an hour. Went to Chippy and ended up with a proper pizza. I don't know. Doesn't sound like a Chippy if you got pizza, mate. In which map would I drop Jet? Dropping Jet. I guess I was thinking of it in terms of Chamber. Well, in terms of just dropping Jet, I would drop her for Raze on Bind and Split, probably. I think Breeze, you could probably play Chamber. I still think Jet's probably better, though. Fracture, I think Raze is better than Jet. Bind Split Fracture, I think I would drop Jet for Raze in its whole, though. I'm not co-streaming them, Purist. I don't even know like if you need like rights for them or not, or if it's just like anyone can stream them. I'm trying to see what games there even are. This one should be pretty good though. Energy X up. So just playoff bracket now, yeah. Oh, it's all today, huh? Kind of a fucking long ass schedule, and then what you got? VCT on Friday. Neon and Fracture's decent. It looks alright, but I think Raze is probably better value. Knights versus the Guard, also a juice box? Yeah, looks like it. Yeah, let's see. I'll just answer like some more questions, and then I might see if there's someone to raid. I just wanted to get that rant off my chest about Ascent attack. Because I'm kind of just tired of watching teams not default mid or not defaulting mid fully and breaking stuff as much as they should. Thoughts on V1's Breeze, like the one where they were running Astra yesterday? Let's see, this one, right? The only thing is on Breeze, I think Astra could be really good because I'm just going to put down a bunch of smokes. If I can scroll to fucking Astra. Being able to place like... This one kind of has a gap, but that's fine. This one I think has a little bit of a gap on the side too, but being able to place down like... I still think you need double smokes here, which is so fucking stupid, but That's probably about it. You could place one here now, maybe. I'm not sure. I haven't tested that, but being able to place these smokes in terms of like denying map control and angles, I think is really powerful. And then having like Astra Util for post plant, having it for stalling sites should be pretty strong. Allows you to switch up your aggression more because now you can start smoking stuff off like that on defense, maybe. Just a few things you can try to change up. Issue is you probably have to give up your second initiator, or like they've just dropped their gen, they're having Penny play Chamber, which might be the future of the map, depending. Chamber looks pretty sick on that map, I think, because you can like get one TP out on B, do a lot of different things like that. Better alarm bots for flank. I think the Cypher cam is really strong on that map though, so that's kind of hard to justify giving up, but yeah. I don't know, I think like double smokes looks pretty sick on Breeze. In theory, at least. If only it was an arrow you could throw that would tell you if you broke it. I don't know though. Are you talking about the alarm bot for mid on Ascent? Yo, what's up, Swoosh? Bridge smoke also pretty good when splaying A, yeah. It is kind of funny, Bacon, like, because I've been thinking about this more. The amount of people, especially with that double bounce thing where it does the voice line, if you break it, the amount of teams that still have lineups that are just like one or none bounces for breaking, like Cypher, Killjoy, Util. I feel like at that point you just need to like revamp all of them and make them 2 bounce so you know. I mean, Joshua Steele Nissan was a genius all along and did double smokes month before anyone else. Yeah, he was a little bit ahead of the curve because the map was dog shit back then, so. We tried Omen for a while, like Omen, Viper with Jimmy, which was interesting. It was nice because you could like smoke the end of halls and try to lurk up, but watching XSET NRG, nah, I just wanted to rant about Ascent attack and then to answer some questions and then probably raid Bren here shortly. The classic GMD Brimlore calls, yeah, they need to bring the Brimstone back. I feel like fucking MC is gonna make them bring that back for Breeze on the guard. I don't know if has the guard even played Breeze yet? I don't think they have, right? Nah. They played Fracture with it. Nah, I don't think I'm gonna co-stream them. I just wanted to go over that, and then maybe I might play some ranked later or something, depending on what everyone's doing. Thought I rebound smokes in the game. I think Astra, you probably want to mess with her suck in terms of like the duration that it actually lasts for. Maybe get rid of vulnerable. Yeah, Trent's on 31 kills is pretty mental. What else is there? I think Brim would probably be even more viable if you just gave him like a much larger range on his smokes to the point where it's almost universal. I think Omen and Brim, you should probably just get rid of the fucking noise that they're smoking. Like Omen makes like the mysterious noise and Brim makes the iPad noise. I'll just get rid of that maybe. Omen smokes need to be faster. TPs need to be less buggy. I think that would be a start. Delete the Stimmy and give him ability. Nah, bro. Stimmy's too busted. You just don't know. But yeah, I think people are leaning way too hard into that Astra's OP and that people would play the other smokes if she got nerfed because that already happened and she's still nuts. and the other smoke agents just kind of suck ass depending on the map in comparison, so I feel like Sai is good enough to go toe-to-toe with 10's J Leaf. Probably not yet. I think those guys have much of an advantage in terms of knowing the fundamentals of TAC FPS games. I feel like Brimmy on Fracture definitely looks interesting compared to Astra. And just being able to brim ult an entire fucking site is pretty nuts, right? Gave Brim a flash. Yeah, we definitely need more flash agents. I don't think the Stim Beacon's bad. I think people just kind of roll it because it doesn't have immediate value. Take on the new Yoru. Feels like he's just going to be not a very good agent, but he might just have something that's so overpowered that people are tempted to use him with the new ults or the decoy thingy. He just still feels inherently like a bad agent. Yeah, Astro Stars and Breach Util is really strong on Fracture. Yoru will be good for ranked as long as it's not on my team. Well, here's what's going to happen in ranked, right? Someone's going to decoy through a smoke, and then the teammate I'm anchoring the site with is going to shoot it and then full blind me, and then I'm going to get like jet updraft daggers. But yeah, we'll see what they need to do with the smoke agents. I still think they need to release another one as well, another smoke agent. There is no bad agent in Valorant. There is a bad agent in Valorant. It's called Yoru. And he's still not going to be played with the changes, even though they're going to make his shit so OP like they did with Viper, so people play him. And then they're going to have to figure out how to walk back the decoy thing. No, I agree, Bacon. His flash is fucking sick. It's just like the rest of his kit just doesn't make a lot of sense. Phoenix bad. Phoenix would be sick again if his flashes weren't dog shit. An alternative to Viper, yeah, that would be nice, but I think that's a long ways off, and I don't know how you do it without making it super similar to begin with, so. But I think we'll leave it at that. I'll probably watch these matches tonight. You guys should as well if you have time. And maybe one of these will be interesting. Then we'll do something similar again where I want to go on a rant. So appreciate you guys stopping by. I'm pretty shocked at how many people want to listen to me rant about something like defaulting mid Ascent. So definitely have to try to do these more often. I feel like it's pretty good though, because I can talk about certain concepts or certain maps, and then you guys can ask me questions as well. So, but yeah, I'm gonna send you guys to Bren, so hopefully you guys can watch baby century videos and int ranked or whatever the fuck he's doing. So thanks for stopping by, and I'll talk to you guys later. You guys do a co-stream this weekend? I think I'll stream some of them if I can, but no promises. I think after this weekend though, I should be able to pretty consistently. I'll talk to you guys later. Peace.